My name is Rob Mylroie. CRC, it's a church obviously, big auditorium. The roof is over the auditorium is curved Toblerone trusses. They spanning 60 odd meters, 2.5 meter sort of size to the Toblerone. And that's really the major thing on the project. There's also some peripherals. There's a spiral ramp. There's a feature ring that holds up one of the stair landings, which is actually quite nice the way the architect's done it. So there's a couple of things on the job. With a job of this nature, you really do need to jig it. You've got to put it together in the workshop knowing that it's going to go together properly on site. You know, the frames that we put together for that had to be particular because with the auditorium being curved at the back and there being a curved concrete ring beam that supports the trusses, all the trusses are different in terms of allowing the engineer to put different section sizes into the tubes, basically in thickness mainly. So that just meant that every one was different, and that in itself made a challenge. It made a challenge on the jigging because each of your supports had to be slightly different for that. When it came to the spiral ramp, well, yeah, that ended up quite a mission. Worked out really well, but there were a lot of challenges. We put together a pretty good jig in the workshop. We really did put together some most suitable jigs to get this thing right, and that worked really well. It tends to be what we do with any jobs of this nature. On site, yeah, there were a couple of good issues happening. There was a tower crane off centre that had to put all of this in, and it was worked out in terms of how we spliced it to give suitable weights for the tower crane to pick up, which eventually then the tower crane wasn't able to do. So that made it quite interesting. We had to get a big mobile in as well. On the site, actually putting the trusses in, what ended up being the major problem was that in fact the tolerances at the end of the trusses, because of the concrete ring beam that it was supported on, were a bit tight, and we did battle to get the last component in because it became captive. So that was quite interesting. When it came to the spiral ramp, yeah, we had quite a bit of fun there. The thing is hung from basically a concrete slab on the top with radial beams in it. And when you do something like this that's hanging, your hangers need to be straight. And there were some challenges there. The castings that the hangers went through weren't quite big enough, so you didn't have as much room to move as you wanted to. But I think when you look at the end result, it actually came out really well. I think you've just got to look at what it is. You're not going to do this in anything but steel unless you're going to go and build another Sydney Opera House. Steel's the way to go, and it's the Toblerone trusses are really nice. I mean, they look great, and they just give you such good spanning capability, out of tubes. With the spiral ramp hanging from high tensile bars and spiraling like that, you could do it in concrete, but certainly ain't going to look as good. So yeah, I think steel really comes into its own when you're doing structures like this.